Yes, good afternoon all. I'm Sirisha, Department of Basic Science and Humanities and Chemistry, dealing with chemistry subject. And regarding the course name, Engineering Chemistry. In Engineering Chemistry, we are discussing about the batteries. In the batteries, today's topic is solar cells. So come to the solar cells. What is meant by solar cells? So solar cell is also known as photovoltaic cell. So which is a photovoltaic cell? Solar cell is also known as the photovoltaic cells. So whereas these devices which convert sunlight directly into electricity. So solar cells are the devices whereas which convert sunlight into electricity. So typically these solar cells are made up of semiconductor materials. So these are made up of semiconductor materials. So semiconductor materials can absorb photons from sunlight and generate electrical current through the photovoltaic effect. So what is meant by photovoltaic effect? That is also very important. So here if you see the electricity generated by solar cells can be used in power various devices. That means different types of devices we can use the solar cells. So it may be if you take the solar cells means in different types of gadgets also. In nowadays we are using solar cells. So come to the photovoltaic effect. What is meant by photovoltaic effect? If you see the photovoltaic effect here, so we know that p-type and n-type semiconductors we have. So come to the p-type semiconductors, whereas holes are major and electrons are having less amount. So if you take n-type, here holes are less and electrons are more. So when the electrons migrated from n-type to p-type, so here the holes are more, right? So these holes are occupied with that electrons, and here from these holes, so that means from p-type to n-type, the migration of holes will take place. At that time, the depletion layer will be formed between P and N. So that means at P-N junction, here the energy transfer difference will be formed. Due to that energy transfer difference, which is generate some amount of electricity. So that is nothing but called as electrical energy. So in form of that means electrical energy, the flow of electricity will take place due to because of this depletion layer. So in between p-n junction, so the depletion layer will be formed due to the transfer of electrons and holes from p to n-type. So there is a depletion will form between p-n junction. So if you see this one, when the light reaches p-n junction, the light photons, which nothing but can easily enter to the junction and p-type at the p-type layer. The light energy in form of photons supplied sufficient energy to the junction to create the number of hole page. So which create more number of hole page. And the incident light breaks the thermal equilibrium conditions of the junction. The free electrons in the depletion region can quickly come to the n-type. So due to the holes transfer from p to n and the electrons transfer from n to p, in between the two layers, so there is a depletion will take place. So due to because of this depletion zone, the junction will be formed between P and N. The electrical transfer, that means the electrical supply here, the electron flow will take place. That is nothing but which is acts as a small battery, which is acts as a small cell. So the electrical supply will take place. That is nothing but the production of electricity. So this is the working of photovoltaic cells. So in similarly the same thing will be happen to the n-type also. So this is the effect of, this is called as photovoltaic effect. So come to the photovoltaic effect and energy generation, and next how the solar energy generated. As I said, the sunlight energy, the sun energy which is directly formed in form of photons, that will be converted in electricity, right? Solar energy. So that solar energy will be stored in form of two types. One is on-grid, second one is off-grid. So what is the difference between off-grid and on-grid? Off-grid means without grid, on-grid means with the grid. So what is the difference? For example, in remote areas, there is no grid in the particular areas. So at that time of off-grids, we can use the solar panels. So see this one, see the example. So if you take the remote areas, if you constructed any house in any remote area, at that place we can use the solar panels. That means without grid we are using these panels, right? So that is called as off grid. So half grid solar systems, also known as the standalone, itself it work. Standalone systems are not connected to the any of the electrical grid, which does not connected to any of the grid. They are typically used to remote areas, and these are typically used to remote areas, whereas grid access is limited. So here if the grid access is limited, then we can use the half grid solar systems, and which is non-existence. Nothing but the grid will be non-existence. Half grid systems consist of solar panels. So these systems especially consist of solar panels and the batteries for the energy storage. So these panels, which are nothing but connected to the batteries, because to store the energy we should connect it to the battery, and sometimes there is a backup generators also there, and the solar panels generate electricity during day. That means if, because only we can store in the batteries, right? So if the panel is working, then only energy can be stored, that energy can be utilized. So only at the time of daytime only we can store the energy into the batteries for use at night times. So we can store the energy to the battery and we can use at the night times also. Sometimes the sunlight may be insufficient at the time of rainfall, sometimes at the time of winter season. So at that time the sunlight is insufficient for these systems. And off-grid systems are commonly used in situations where the self-sufficiency is desired. Nothing but we must produce this energy, electrical energy. So in that case, in remote areas mostly we can use this off-grid systems. And come to the on-grid system. What is meant by on-grid? On-grid means nothing but which is connected to the local electrical grid. So we can connect it to the electrical grid. Then here the work in junction with the grid allow for two ways of energy flow. Nothing but it supply the energy two ways, for household things, and for it may be for industrial purpose also we can send the energy. So excess of electrical energy which is generated by the solar panels can be fed back into the grid and earn some credits. That means we can generate some amount of energy that will be compensated with utility, means we can supply to some of the companies which can use that energy and give some amount. So on-grid systems are popular choice. Mostly we prefer on-grid because on-grid we can use for residential purpose as well as commercial purpose, and for the industries also. For industrial supply also we can use the on-grid. And these are eco-friendly. These on-grid systems are eco-friendly, they are affordable, and the price is also less. If you take the solar panels installation is initial stage, it is very costly. But if you connect it to the grid, it is somewhat better than panels. So which is eco-friendly and less expensive, affordable price, we can get the on-grid solar systems. And see the diagram also, if you see this one. So here there is a grid. So this grid is connected to this one, right? So which is essential for the, which is supplied to the household things as well as for the nothing but for any industry or anything we can, for the commercial purpose we can supply this energy. If you take the, if you observe the system of half grid, here the solar panels are arranged on house, right? So these only we can use, we can store the energy through battery. That's it. We can use energy through battery and we can supply that energy. So battery cost is more and installation of panels is also high. So which is expensive. Off grid is expensive than on grid. So next come to the applications of solar cells. So solar cells, there are vast applications, we know that. So in that applications, the space applications, mostly solar cells can be extensively used in space missions, satellites, power satellites, space probes and international space stations. In space stations also mostly we use the solar energy. They are crucial for generating electricity in the harsh environment and outer space. Sometimes it may be in outer space, it is very difficult to produce the solar energy. Next, transportation. Solar cells are being integrated in various transportations like electrical vehicles, boats, and some of the aero vehicles, airline vehicles also. We can use it, solar panels and surface generate electricity, which is nothing but which generate some supplement energy sources, which can use as supplement energy sources. And in residential purpose also, we can use the solar cells. So it may be in rooftops, we can use the solar panels to generate electricity for the powering of home, complete power supply to the home. We can use this solar panels. This reduces reliance of grid and can lead to significant energy cost saving over time. That means after usage of so many days, we can store some amount of energy and we can supply to the other areas also. And in rural areas, mostly in rural areas, if power supply is difficult, at that case also we can use this off-grid systems like solar panels. We can use it. We can install it and we can use it. In remote areas also we can use it, and in water pumps and for communication systems and improving quality of the life, we can use this solar systems in rural areas for economic development. And portable power supplies. So these are, it may be used in calculators. Portable power supplies means nothing but in calculators, outdoor lights, are from phone chargers, and we can use it compatible solar cells. That means the solar panels provide amount of energy which can be stored in different types of electrical devices. We can use it in different types of electrical devices also. And about the commercial applications, these solar cells mostly in commercial buildings like industrial buildings, including offices and shopping centers and factories, mostly in factories. So we can use the solar panels, and which reduce the operating cost. So due to because of this one, we can reduce the operating cost also. We can provide our own energy. We can supply it. And installation at the time of scale of solar cell installation, such as solar farms, solar parks, can also supply the electricity to the grids. So after installing this also we can supply to the grids. So thank you all. This is about solar cells and solar energy.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.